Time travel, going to 1840s Ireland, that chemistry and that tension, and just there's so much that's unsaid. Liam lands into the present day. There's just like a whirlwind of activity around him. Longest zipper scene you could
It
ever
was great.
imagine. There is a scene that involves spaghetti, and that's all I'll say.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Heart in Motion podcast. I'm so excited to be talking today with Lucie Guest. Lucie is one of the directors of Providence Falls, airing this month on the Hallmark channel. Lucie, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie.
I've looked and know that you have directed several movies already on Hallmark. So I'm interested to hear, what was it like when you got the scripts for Providence Falls? What were some of those things that really stood out to you that might be a little bit different than directing a movie of the week?
I mean, everything was different. Everything was different about this movie. Well, time travel, going to 1840s Ireland. We traveled back in time, literally. um, just the mystery, like the sweeping romance of it all, the Department of Destiny, this idea of love, transcending time, and just the ability to sort of play with um, something so different, with the mystery in Providence Falls and solving what's going on there, all the while telling this like very sort of sweeping romance was awesome. And then of course, um, the Angels and the Department of Destiny. I hadn't seen anything like that before, so that was exciting to just come up with a whole. We had an incredible team behind this, and just thinking about ways to make this Department of Destiny look. What does that look like? And
Oh, yeah.
use your creativity and your imagination. And we really, wanted to come up with this idea of this lo-fi, low tech, in like, but high tech at the same time. It turned out really well. That was our production designer, Heather, um, and Justin, our DP. We just wanted to sort of yes and the script, which was, already had this beautiful, rich story from the books. So we just, it was different. Everything about it was fun and different.
With it being so different, is there something that immediately jumped out at you that was like, this is the thing that we have to get right on screen?
Well, there was a few things that I felt that way about, and that was those moments of tension with the romance
Okay.
that I had not really seen before, in that it didn't just skim along the surface of the romance. It really kind of let it settle a little bit. And there's a scene coming up in movie three, that kind of mirrors, say, a scene that we had in movie one, um, with and also in movie two, but with that sort of that chemistry and that tension, and just there's so much that's unsaid, that is like bubbling underneath the surface, that I really thought I really wanted to get right, and also milk it as much as I could. I was like, if I can milk these moments, I mean, I it's something that I want to watch.
Yeah.
And so these are things that I really was looking for. And then also just the whole period piece, of it all, the look and feel of going back in time to 1840s
Mhm.
Ireland. That was something that our whole team really wanted to make sure that we, we each different time period, and Department of Destiny, Providence Falls, present day, and back in time Ireland, all had a look and feel to it that we wanted to get right and make it feel different.
So with it, that challenge of you're filming, you want it to look modern day, but then we're going back to 1844 Ireland. What were some of those challenges from your perspective, of balancing that modern day versus that look of 1844?
I mean, so there was a few things. Obviously, what really helped is the costume, the production design. We used different, we had a mood, well, we created like a lookbook for each different, I see it in three parts. I see Department of Destiny as its own like look and
Uh-huh.
feel and part.
Yeah.
and then modern Providence Falls is its own look and feel, and then same with 1840s Ireland. We just the camera movement was different than in modern day. Just little things like that we would get specific on. We had specific rules for how we would move the camera in the past versus the present, to try and like keep it more lateral and more sort of there was no steady or handheld. It had very more specific and choreographed movements that felt heavy, like a heavier camera that moved at a different pace. And then in present day, we wanted to keep it more fluid. And because, especially that when Liam lands into the present day, there's just like a whirlwind of activity around him. So we wanted that to feel like, more that chaos and that sort of like difference from the past. So we did a lot more not handheld, but we did steady and had a lot more camera movement. And we're playing with sort of more like making it feel a little bit more modern than the past. Just little things like that.
Got it. So I had an opportunity to visit with one of the executive producers who was also an executive producer for Villa Amore. And back when we were talking about that movie, she described, a movie a week is very much like a sprint
Mhm.
versus something like this is more of like a marathon. So how did having that time, even though you were really doing three parts, how did that time provide you with some extra opportunities? Or did it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's true in that you're doing a marathon, but you are sprinting so much in all three. But I feel like I, were you talking to Kate?
Yes.
Yes, she's amazing. I love both Kate and Joe. So yeah, I mean, I think it gave us an opportunity to dive deeper into the character and the story
Mm,
and to really hone in. And also because we were revisiting some of the sets, we could put more love and care into each
mm,
set so we could build upon this base that we've already built. It's instead of we're just going in and we're never seeing it again. And then it really gives you a chance to sort of, when you're shooting something more than once, how can we shoot it differently and sort of expand and deepen what you're already doing. And then what's also great about the marathon, even though it is a sprinting marathon, I would say, is that by the time you get to movie 3, everyone knows their character so well that it just becomes so fluid and so fun. You're directing these scenes, but everyone is so in the story by now that you can really sort of push it even further.
mhm.
And that's kind of exciting and do things that are slightly outside of the first how you would visit it the first time. So it kind of it feels like to me like we can keep deepening the characters and the performances in a way.
Got it. So I'm always fascinated. And you've talked a little bit about them knowing their characters really well by part three. I'm fascinated by that collaboration that has to happen to bring something like this to our screens. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like working with the actors and the part that they play in that collaboration working with you? But then also that there's a different director with Siobhan Devine in part two and what that collaboration is like.
I well, I feel like, well, first I'll talk about Siobhan because I love her. And the collaboration with her was dreamy. She's fantastic. And her and I spent a lot of time together. I think we were scouting. So because this was such a whirlwind and we were moving very quickly with these, I think over the holidays we were sort of prepping.
Yeah.
I left on the holidays early, and I think on New Year's Eve, she came with me willingly, but we were scouting locations for movie 2 and 3 and 1 actually, during on New Year's Eve, sorry, on New Year's Eve. I don't know if I said that or Christmas Eve. On New Year's Eve, we were driving all over the place looking at some pretty epic locations, which I feel like if I were to say would give them away a little bit.
Mhm.
But we needed to find caves and waterfalls and things like that. And we spent a lot of time in prep talking about the movie and the characters, and she was a big part of prep. And then yeah, and then with the cast. I think Katie and I started talking quite early. We had a group, like a text thread with all the actors, and a group thread with Katie, and she's mm, like my favorite kind of actor in that she loves to prep and do her homework. And a lot of the actors, their first assignment was learning the Irish dialect, and
Which was she did so
she did
well.
so well. And I think that was a big part of the prep was, uh, dialect practice, and sort of like digging into those to the backstory so much. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. So we've seen episode one now, those of us that are following along live. Is there something from episode one that you can say, I'm really proud of this scene or this moment from episode one?
There's a few. One of the ones that I talk about a lot was my sort of ode to Romeo and Juliet, the fish tank moment with the when they see each other through the ball outside the castle as they're going along. I really think that's so beautiful. But obviously, one of my favorite scenes to direct was the zipper scene, because I wanted to push my limits as much as I could and milk that as much as I
Oh,
could.
the long
The
zipper pull.
longest the longest zipper scene you could
It
ever
was great.
imagine. Um, and then, I think the opening of her falling off the edge, the cliff, and landing into her bed was, and there are just some really some fun sort of different things that we got to play with in movie one. And there are some coming out in movie two and three as well, that were really fun to direct.
That's so cool. Yeah, those were amazing moments. Part one ends with Cora confessing to Liam that she's curious about where this could potentially go. That's how it ends. So, what can we look forward to? And I know you can't say a whole lot, but what can we look forward to in the episode that's coming out this Saturday night?
I think you can look forward to the love triangle getting more and more complicated, which is nice. I think also some other characters are going to pop in to the world, maybe some familiar faces, and just more romance.
Okay. And so you directed episode, or we'll call it part three. What can you tease about part three?
Mm, well, I guess there is a scene that involves spaghetti, and that's all I'll say.
Oh, well, there you go.
You'll
Now
know,
I'm
you'll know if you know, and you'll
now I'm
know when you
definitely intrigued, right? Well, I thoroughly enjoyed, and I know so many people have thoroughly enjoyed seeing part one. Kudos to you for your amazing work on this series. It's definitely the cinematic feel, the storyline, the fact that Hallmark has brought this trilogy-esque story to us, and amazing zipper moments. So thank
know.
you for that.
Thank you,
Just
Stephanie.
so everybody knows, Providence Falls is going to air this Saturday night on the Hallmark Channel, 8, 7 Central. If you haven't seen part one, you can actually watch it on Hallmark Plus right now to get caught back up. Lucie, thank you so much for joining me, and kudos to you and your team for an amazing job in this project.
Thanks, Stephanie.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.